So countries are racing to contain China, and a new one has joined that list. I'm talking about New Zealand. They're heading to polls on the 14th of October, and for the first time, the electoral spotlight is on foreign policy in New Zealand. Parties are wrestling with how to respond to an assertive China. And now, an intelligence report has accused Beijing of foreign interference. New Zealand has long depended on its geographical isolation. It was seen as a security guarantee, but that's no longer the case. Auckland knows it needs to counter China. And now it's looking at new ways to do that. Our next report tells you more.
The world is a grand geopolitical chessboard where world powers jostle for dominance. But nestled far away in New Zealand, a masterclass in geographical isolation. For long, New Zealand thought its remoteness was enough. It was enough to protect it from anything. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. As tensions rise in the Pacific, especially with the belligerent China, New Zealand can no longer depend on its remoteness. An intelligence report says just that. It has accused China of foreign interference. It says, and I quote, "There were foreign intelligence agencies who persistently and opportunistically conducted espionage operations against New Zealand." The report calls for greater awareness. With the general election on October 14th, there is no clear path on how the country should respond. External issues are uncommon in New Zealand politics. But this time, the spotlight is on foreign and defence policy. Surveys show public concern around security. 40% of respondents saw China's rise as one of the greatest threats to New Zealand's safety. So, parties are grappling with how to deal with China. New Zealand has long been friendly with Beijing. Last month, the New Zealand Prime Minister was in China. The week-long visit was aimed at boosting exports. New Zealand's dairy and meat export economy is very reliant on Beijing. While the West may rally against China, New Zealand has historically taken a conciliatory approach. Last year, it even upgraded its free trade pact with Beijing. But China's muscular presence in the Pacific has raised a few eyebrows in New Zealand. So has its decision to sign a security pact with the Solomon Islands. This is a move that drew sharp rebuke from New Zealand. So now, Wellington must decide how to approach defence spending, its relationship with the United States and China, and the AUKUS partnership. Currently, New Zealand's defence budget is about 1% of GDP. The governing Labour Party says spending must increase, but it hasn't said by how much. Its involvement in a second tier of the AUKUS is also unclear. The AUKUS partnership involves the UK, the US, and Australia. They're collaborating on nuclear-powered submarines. New Zealand's Defence Review says it presented an opportunity, but it does not want to compromise its anti-nuclear position. New Zealand goes to polls on October 14th. Chances are that the Labour will lose and the opposition National Party will win. So what's their China policy? The National Party has highlighted the importance of ties with China, no matter how contentious they may be. As for defence policy, they say they need more details on AUKUS. New Zealand manages its China relationship very carefully. On one side is its security partnerships in the West, and on the other, its economic dependence on China. So it's unlikely that New Zealand will get caught in a West versus China rivalry. But its balancing act is getting harder to maintain.